All right. So yesterday we were discussing about data types, right? First of all, we are learning, we are seeing like how we will create the table. In that, we are discussing, I explain all the different types of data types, correct? So as we discussed yesterday, data types we will use data types in SQL to data side. It define generally data types. What it will do, it defines what type of value the column can store in the table, right? Like I said, there are many types of data types, like integer data type, to which is used to store the numerical data, character or string data type used to store the character data, and we have date data type and all, right? Yesterday we saw about the types of data types, right? Now what we need to do here, yesterday I just wrote employees as a table name and I given the column names as employee ID. Let me write it. Employee ID, employee name, date of joining, and salary. Now we need to define the data type for that columns, right? Basically, how we will define the data type, beside the column name, we need to write the data type of that particular column name. As employee ID is in employee ID, what it will be, we will enter some numerical data, right? So I can just define it as int, right? Clear? For employee name, we will enter some characters. So I can simply write char data type here, correct? And one more thing, whenever we are using character data, whenever we are defining character data, we will define some size. Character data means alphabetical data, right? Whenever we will define some alphabetical data, we need to define the size or length. Suppose if here I gave employee name as char, right? Suppose if I given the data, or if I given the size as 20, what it means, I can enter employee name up to 20 characters only, right? We are defining the size, how much size, depending on the size we declared to the column name, we can enter that much data only, right? See, here I gave 20 characters, right? If I suppose try to enter any data more than 20 characters, it won't allow me to enter. We can enter any data up to 20 characters only. Okay. And for date of joining, our data type will be date, right? For salary, we can use integer or float. Here I'm using float. Float in the sense decimal characters, right? Now, this is how I will create the table. This is the syntax of the table. Let me write the syntax once here. What will be the syntax? Create table, table name. Okay. Table name will be our table name is the employees name. Table name is employees here, right? And we should write all the column names along with the data types inside this brackets. That means column name, we need to define the data type. Column name 1, comma data type, like that. Column name 2, data type, and so on, right? That's what I did. Create table, employees is our table name, employee ID, employee name, date of joining and salary is our column names. And with, according to our column name, I define some data types here. Right, now let's execute this. I'll just select this line and I will click on execute button. As I said yesterday, this is our execute button. I'm so sorry. First, we need to activate the database, right? See, if in a hurry, if we forget, if we forget activating the database, it will throw us an error. It is stating that no database selected, right? First, what we need to do every time, we need to activate the database. So I'm executing the statement which we wrote yesterday, use DURGASOFT, right? Then it got activated. Now we can execute this once again. See, you can see at the bottom, if we get any error, we can, it will throw us a red color cross mark. If it is showing the green color tick mark, that means it got executed successfully without errors, right? You can see our table got created. If you have any doubts, you can ask me, guys, okay? Now we created the table. We need to insert the data inside it, right? See, this is the table. Employees is our table name, employee ID, employee name, date of joining, and salary is the column names. And we need to enter some data randomly, right? Suppose if I am writing any data like this, then only I can say I inserted the data, right? This will be our table name, this will be our column names, and this will be our data, right? Now what we did, we just created the table along with the column names. We need to insert the data. For inserting the data, we need to use insert command, okay? So before inserting the data, let me tell you the difference between char and varchar. Yesterday, while discussing about data types, I said for character data, we have two data. We have two data types, right? One is char data type and the second one is varchar data type. And I said I will explain the difference between them later, right? Now let's first see the difference between char and varchar, okay? I'll open Paint. So let's try to understand what is the difference between char and varchar. Okay. Basically, we use char and varchar data is a type of character data or string data, right? We use character data to store the what we call to store the character data, right? We use char or varchar basically to store the character data, right? But what is the difference between char and varchar in the sense? Char is a fixed length data type. That is, whatever size we define previously, whenever I am in while defining the data type for the employee name, what I did, I written like this, right? I written like employee char of 20. Right? This 20 will be the size. We need to define the size whenever we are defining the character data. So what is the difference between char and varchar in the sense? Let me just explain you by showing taking one example. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Suppose 10. I took one box and I divided that box into 10 parts, right? Suppose I want to store any name. So suppose I am entering John here. I'm entering the name as John, right? How at the back end the data will be inserted in the sense for each and every size. Here I given the size as 20, right? If I gave the size as 10, it will be the size will be divided like this. Okay, it is divided into 10 boxes, right? In that, for each and every box, one letter will be assigned. Suppose imagine that I given care of here instead of 20, I defined employee name care of 10 in the sense this entire box is divided into 10 parts, and and I entered the employee name as John. So every letter, each and every letter will took one box. Here it took only 4 boxes, right? Because John is only the length of the John is only 4. Remaining is we left over with 6 boxes, correct? So what happened here, whenever we will use char, this 6 boxes is also used by SQL. This will be SQL will use the 6 boxes also with blank spaces. Okay. So it will completely use 10 boxes here. But here basically we are using only 4 boxes, right? We need only four spaces, but it is using entire 10 spaces. For the remaining spaces, it will just fill with the blank spaces, which leads to the wastage of memory, right? When comes to varchar, what it happen if we define the varchar? If suppose I write for the employee table, I mean for the employee name, column name, if I define instead of char, if I define varchar of 10. Okay, I'm not writing completely. I hope you understand. This, just imagine this is employee name. This is my column name, and I define the data type as varchar, and inside the size I given as 10. At the back end, how it will, what it will happen in the sense, I'm taking another box. Okay. I'm dividing the boxes into 10 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Imagine 10. Okay. Again, I'm entering the same John details here. So what it will do, it will take only first 4 boxes, right? And the remaining 6 boxes, what it will do, it will release. It won't use this 6 boxes data, right? Though we define the size as 10, it will take how many characters we will enter how much character, whatever data we entered, the length of the data only it will take. The remaining all the boxes or all the length, it will just release that boxes. It won't use here. Whereas whenever we will use this char, the memory will be wastage here because the remaining length also it will use. But here in varchar, it won't use. It releases this remaining leftover spaces. Okay. It will use whatever required, whatever data we entered, that much memory only it will use. So this is the advantage of varchar. I hope you guys understood this. Is it clear for everyone? Please reply in chat. Guys, I want response from everyone. Please respond in chat. Is it clear? Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great.
But ma'am, the processing speed would be high for char, right?
Processing, sorry.
Processing speed speed would be higher for char, right?
A little bit. There will be the little bit difference. Of course, for varchar, it will be high. But again, if we use char, the memory wastage will be huge, right? For that reason, I'm not saying we won't use char. We will use both char and varchar. But in what cases we will use char in the sense for in some cases we will know that how much data or what is the data we are entering. For example, if we are something like employee name, if there is a column like gender, if we are writing or if we are using the gender column, in that we know what data we will enter, either male or female, right? So we know how many characters we will enter at that time. Like if we know what data is we are going to enter and how much space our data will take at that time, for surely we will use char. I can just write my employee, I mean my column name as gender, and I can just define the size as maybe 6. That will be enough, right? But some data, if we don't know what data we will enter, and if we don't know what will be the length, for example, if we talk about names, first name and last name, in our last name someone many people will have very long I mean very lengthy last names, right? Our names will be, someone names will be shorter, someone names will be longer. We can't decide it clearly, right? So we will definitely use some at least 20 or 30 sizes at that time. But in that time the memory wastage will be huge, right? If we use char, that's the reason we will use varchar whenever defining names, or whenever we are defining addresses kind of thing, like that. Whatever data we are entering, we are not sure about the length of the data, at that time we will use varchar. Okay. And one more difference is that char will store up to 255 characters only. Okay. Only 255 characters it will store. I will write that in Excel. 1 second. So char will basically, it stores up to 255, sorry, up to 255 characters only. Okay. And varchar stores up to 65,535. 65,535. This is the limit of the character length which char and varchar will store. Okay. Suppose if we are planning to enter the huge data, suppose if the data is more than 255 characters, we don't have any choice. We need to use varchar only. Like that, depending upon our data and depending on the column name, we need to decide whether to use char or varchar. Okay. I hope you understood the difference between char and varchar. So yeah, this is about all the data types in SQL, and this is how we will create the table. Now let's see how we will insert the data. Okay. To insert the data, obviously we will use insert command, right? Insert into will be our syntax. Insert into table name. Insert into table name, values, and we need to enter our values inside the brackets. This will be our syntax. Insert into table name and values. We need to use the values keyword, and after values we need to enter the data. Like, first we have employee ID, right? So I'm giving 1 as employee ID. For employee name, I'm using Sam. Okay. And I'm giving date as randomly, I'm giving any date, and salary will be 50,000. And after completing one row, we need to, if we enter another, to enter the data of the second row, what we need to do, we need to use comma here, and again we need to write the data inside the brackets. Here, if you observe what I did, I used quotes for character data, right? If we are entering any numbers, no, we don't use any quotes, okay? Directly we can give numbers, okay? And if we are, whenever we are using character data and date data type data, we need to use either single quotes or double quotes, okay? Both will work. See, as Sam is a character data, I given it is inside the single quotes, and for date also I mentioned I given quotes. But for numbers, no need of giving quotes, right? We need to follow this rule. And and the next important rule is whenever we are giving the date, the format should be like YY, MM, and DD like this. We need to use this format only. First year, then month, then date. Okay. And whenever we are giving the values or whenever we are giving the data, our data should be enclosed within the brackets. And this will be my first row. To enter the second row details, I will use one comma, and again I will open the brackets and I will give the second data. Okay. So, comma, I'm giving something like John, and date will be sorry. My date will be 2023 March 28. Okay. And salary maybe 48,000. Like this. Okay. This will be my first row. Then I will keep comma, and this will be our second row. Each and every row, each and every row data we need to write inside the brackets only. Okay. So I'm just entering two rows here and I'm executing this statement. We need to select this statement and we need to execute. It got inserted. Okay. So here, what you can observe, I'm just refreshing this database here. To refresh that, as I said yesterday, besides schemas, we will have refresh button. Okay. We are using DURGASOFT database now. We have tables inside it. If we expand these tables, you can see my table name. Employees is my table name, right? So in this employees table name, what I did, if I click on this employees, you can see towards the left side, it will show the column names along with the data type. See, employee ID int, employee name, char of 20, date of joining, and salary. Whenever, if sometimes, what it happens in real time, we won't create each and every data. Basically, once we join, once our project will started, we will get the data from our client, right? So whenever we are going through our data, simply what we can do, after opening the database like this, we need to expand the tables. Then you can able to see the list of the tables inside this tables. Like for example, there is Maven movies database here. If I'm expanding it, there is tables. If I'm expanding it, these are all my table names. If I'm just clicking on the table name, I can able to see whatever column names inside that table, I can able to view it easily. So if we want to understand the data for the first time, we can view like this. Okay, like I have some address column. If I'm just clicking on the table names, at the bottom it is displaying the column names along with the data types. Okay, in MySQL it will display like this. And if we want to see the entire data, we need to use select clause, right? I guess most of you already know about this. If we want to, what we did now, we created the data, we inserted the data. But if we want to see the output, we need to use select clause. How to use that? Select star from table name, right? Here star indicates whenever we are selecting the star, whenever we are mentioning star in select statement, it will display complete data, right? First, let's execute this and let's see. Select star from employees. I'm selecting that and executing. See, it displayed the complete output for me. In the employees table, we have 4 columns, and in that 4 columns, we defined 2 rows, right? The entire output we can see by using the select clause like this. To display any data, we will use select clause. I'll write it here. Select clause is used to display data. Okay. So instead of, if we want to display the entire data, we will use select star. But instead of that, if we want to see any particular data, we can directly use the column name. For example, if I write employee name, comma, salary, from employees. Okay. If I want to see only the employee name and salary, I'll just give the column names here. Then if I execute this, what it will do, it will just display the two columns for me. It is showing the employee name and salary, right? To display the complete data, we need to use asterisk here. We will call this star as asterisk. We need to use asterisk. And if you want to see any particular data, we can give that particular column names. Clear? Anyone, if you are new to the SQL, is that clear for you especially? Please respond in chats. This is how we will create the data. This is how we will insert the data. And this is how we will, display the data. Great. All right. Now, if here in MySQL, after seeing the output, if I want to close this one, you can see towards the bottom left here. You can close from here. There is a cross mark here, right? If we click that, the output will be closed. Okay. So what we did previously, I inserted two rows here, right? Suppose if I execute this line once again, if I am trying to execute the same insert statement once again, let's see what happens. I just selected this insert statement again and I'm executing this. It got inserted. Now let's see the data. I will just execute the select statement. Okay. Now let's once display the data and see. Okay. I'm just executing select star from employees. See, this is my output. Because I used the insert statement 2 times, the data we got the complete data 2 times, right? But basically this will be the duplicate data. For example, in any employee, for each and every, in any office or in any company, each and every employee, we will have unique employee ID, right? Employee IDs cannot be same. But here what happens? We have 2 employee IDs. One is repeating, 2 is repeating, right? Basically, if we are joined in any office or any college, we will be provided with unique IDs, right? So if we are trying to enter the same ID once again, our system or SQL should throws an error stating that you are trying to enter the duplicate data. You cannot enter the duplicate data. But here what happened, it didn't throw me any error. It is just allowing me to enter the duplicate data, right? So to get rid of this, we will use one concept called as primary keys in SQL. Okay. If we define primary keys to any column, what it will do, it will not allow null values and duplicate values. Okay. Null values in the sense, I cannot leave that, value empty. I need to enter some data. We cannot leave that value empty, and we cannot enter any duplicate values. Okay. So to do that, we will define the primary key. Here, whatever we got output just now, that is the wrong statement, right? Basically, SQL should not allow me to enter the same employee IDs again and again. It should be unique. So to do that, we need to define the primary key here. Whenever we are, defining the table itself, whenever we are creating the table itself, we need to define the primary key. Now let's see how we will define the primary key to in any table. Okay. So to do that, what I will do, I will create the same table once again. Again, there should not
but
be.
you are inserting the data only once, right? 1 and 2. So why it is showing 1 and 2 again and again?
That's what. Here I inserted 2 times. See, let me show you once again. I'm just closing this. Here what I did, I executed the same statement again previously. Now I'm inserting once again. Okay. I'm just selecting this and executing. If I am executing this, will be my 3rd time. I executed once again. Now I will execute the select statement. It will show me 3 times. See.
Okay.
I written insert statement only one time, but I executed it 2 times, and it is allowing me to enter the same data. Basically, we should create tables in such a way that if we are trying to insert the, this main in every table, at least one column should be unique. Something like employee ID. In employees table, employee ID should be unique, right? There won't be any, same employee ID for both employees, right? In the same way, each and every table, at least there will be one column that should be unique. And if we try to enter the same data again, our table or SQL should throw us an error stating that you are entering the duplicate data. So each and every time, whenever we are defining the table, we should create the table in such a way that if we are trying to enter the duplicate values, it should throw us an error. To do that, we will use a concept called as primary key. Okay, if we use primary key, whenever we are creating the table, it won't allow us to enter this duplicate values again and again. Okay. Previously, I showed you basically the basic way how we will create the table. Create table name, and the column names. Now, the perfect way to create the table is we need to add primary key also whenever we are creating the table. Now, let's see how we will create a table by using a primary key. Okay. I hope that is clear for you. Let's see this, then you can understand clearly.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm using the same data again, create table employees. I'm using the same syntax, but again, there should not be, second, just copy paste it first. Okay, so I use the same code, create table employees, employee ID, employee name, date of joining, and salary. But again, there should not, SQL don't allows us to, the same table names, it won't allow us twice. Already we created employees table, right? If I execute this, it will throw me an error. So I'm changing slightly the table name. Okay, so I'm giving the table name as employees 1. We should not use the same table names again and again. Okay, so I'm just changing the table name as employees 1, and I'm executing this statement. See, I'm sorry, I need to write the primary key. I forgot. Okay, I'm using employees 2. Here previously what we did, create table name, employee ID, integer, employee name. For each and every column, we define the data types, right? Now what we will do, we will use primary key also. Here, what will be our, in this data, what is the unique column? Employee ID, right? Because employee names, there can be common. For 2 employees also, we can have the common names, right? Same names we can have. Date of joining will also be same. In the same day, 2 people or 3 people can join, and salary can also be same. Name can be same, date of joining and salary can be same, but employee ID should be unique. There won't be 2 employee IDs same, right? So for that reason, we are defining primary key for the employee ID column only. Have to define that after writing employee ID, and after declaring the data type. We are writing int here, right? After that, simply we will write primary key keyword. Okay. By writing primary key here, what we are doing, we are defining primary key to this employee ID column. Okay. This is how we will define primary key. Nothing, this syntax, it won't be much longer. We are just using the keyword primary key. That's it. For whatever column we want to create it, we want to maintain whatever column as unique. For that column, we will write primary key after writing data type. Here I want my employee ID to be unique. So after writing the data type, I wrote primary key keyword. Okay. Now let's execute this. See, the table got created. Now let me insert the same data again in that table. Okay. For the first time, it will accept. But if I execute for the second time, it will throw me the error. Here employees table name will be 2, right? Because here I wrote employees 2. Now I'm executing this insert statement. The data got inserted. Now let's display the data once. Select star from employees 2. Whenever we want to display the data, we will use select star. Okay. I'm selecting this and I'm executing. This is my data. If you observe, whenever I create, whenever I use primary key, it will, after the data, it will show as null like this. This is one of the indication that to understand we used primary key in this table. Okay. Now what it happened, I inserted this 2 rows, right? One, this data. I will try to execute this statement once again. The same statement. That means I'm trying to enter the same data once again. What it should do, it should throw me an error, right? See, it throws me an error. At the bottom, you can see I got an error stating duplicate entry primary key, right? Because I defined primary key for employee ID. I already given 1 and 2 as my employee IDs. If I'm trying to write once again 1 and 2, it is not allowing me to write. It is saying duplicate entry, correct? Is this clear, everyone? This is very important concept. If you have any doubts, you can ask me.
Madam, instead of 1 and 2, we can write 3, right? Then we can execute that query.
Yeah, that one will work. Here, I will show you. See, I can write 3 and I can give any name. I can give any data randomly. I can give any salary. If I execute this, this will work. Because this is not the duplicate data. We are entering this data for the first time, right? See, it got inserted. Okay, now if I execute the select statement, it will show us 3 rows. Third row is inserted. Again, if I write like this, I'm changing this data, okay, for suppose. But I'm not changing the employee ID. It won't allow me to write. It will throw me the error because for employee ID only, I given the primary key because here employee ID should be unique, right? If I execute this, it will throw me an error. See, duplicate entry again. Whether this data is, we change this data also, this column is important because for employee ID only, we define primary key. Here, we are not supposed to enter any duplicate values in the columns which we define primary key. Okay. Clear, everyone? If it is clear for you, if everyone says yes, I will go to the next concept, foreign key. Please respond in chat.
Divya, I have
Yes,
one question. Okay.
Yes, please.
Somewhere you use clause. I'm not able to understand that.
Clause, a select clause.
Yeah.
I used the word called clause. Basically, we in SQL, there is 2 words. One is commands and one is clause. Okay.
Okay.
Create is a command. Okay. Insert is a command. In the next topic, maybe tomorrow, we will discuss about SQL commands concept. So how many types of commands are there? What are there? Tomorrow, in tomorrow's class, we can understand. But basically, we will call these keywords as commands. Okay. Create is one command. By using create command, we are creating the table. By using insert command, we are inserting the data. But when coming to select, we'll call this as one clause. Okay. There are some clauses in SQL like select clause, group by clause, like that. Okay.
Select is a command, right? DRL command, right?
Yeah. It is select is also called as a command. Select is also called as a clause.
Okay.
Select will be a DQL command. It is also called as command, but basically in real time, whenever we are working, simply we will call select as a clause only. Okay. There are few more clauses like limit clause, group by clause. At that time, we will understand what is that. Just don't worry about the word clause, okay? As in real time, we will call select as clause. In that flow, I said that I'm writing select clause, right? Select is a command and as well as the clause. Okay, Sweta?
And one more question. Yes, understood, Advjava.
Mhm.
When you display the table, okay,
Okay.
after creating the primary key,
Mhm.
okay, below the table, it is like indicating as null, null, null.
Null.
Can you
Yes,
explain? Yeah,
yes.
what is that, if
Yeah,
possible?
that is nothing but, see, if we don't know, there are two ways to understand. See, in real time, what it will happen whenever we are started working with a new project, they will send one data for us. Okay, something like this, Maven movies. Going forward, after 2 classes, I will provide you this Maven movies data for you. So what we need to do, we won't create each and every tables, okay? All the tables, all the script, they will send to us. So we need to understand what data is there. If we create the data, we know that what table we are using, what columns we are using, what is the data types, everything we can understand, right? But if we see the data to make us understand, there are two ways here. Suppose, as I said, if we click on employees here after expanding our tables, if we select the employees, here we can able to see the employee ID, employee name, date of joining, date, salary, everything, right? I'm just refreshing this. We have employees 2 here. If you see, there are two ways. Here I'm having 4 columns, but if you see here, employee ID is in bold color. And after int, you can see PK. PK in the sense primary key. By seeing like this, we can understand for employee ID, they defined primary key. If suppose someone created this table to make us understand where, for which column or for which table they created primary key, we can understand like this. Employee ID int, after integer there is PK, right? In the same way, if there is a null here, by seeing this output also, we can understand the null indicates that somewhere in this table they used a primary key, like that. Exactly for which column they used a primary key, we can understand by seeing like this, because after employee ID, after data type, there is a keyword like we have PK, right? PK in the sense primary key. Null is also same thing. If we see for any table, whenever we are displaying the data, if we see after completing the data in the last line, if we see null like this, we should understand that in this table primary key is defined. They used primary key in this table, like that. Okay.
Thank you, Divya.
Yeah. Okay. So this is about primary key. Basically, why we will use primary key? Whenever we will use primary key, it won't allow us to enter the duplicate values, and it won't allow us to, it won't allow null values also. That means we cannot leave that data without entering. Okay. To avoid duplicate values, entry of the duplicate values, we will use primary key. Correct. Avoid duplicate or null values. Right. Okay. Now let's get into the another concept. Next important topic, foreign key. One second. And here in primary key, there is one more important point. I will write it here only. One table will have only one primary key. Okay. This is, again, if you are a fresher, this will be one important interview question. One table will have only one primary key. Whenever we are creating the table, only for one column, we need to define primary key. We are not supposed to define primary key for both the columns. Okay. Only one primary key will be there for each and every table. Okay, you need to remember this point. Next concept is foreign key.
Will you provide any running notes or something, or do you have any notes?
Yes, of course. Once we get into our actual topics, like once not topics, actual classes, once you got registered into the course, once this demo link will be changed to the actual link, right? At that time, from the starting class, I will provide you the notes, and along with that, let me show you clearly. Okay, now only. I guess today will be our last demo class. From tomorrow, maybe the link will be changed, guys. Once again, I'm telling you, everyone, for this course in DurgaSoft only, we will charge at least 6,000 or 7,000. And this is the first time they are providing you with a very good offer. This entire course they are providing only for 2,000. And in this 2,000, we are covering, yesterday I shown you the course content, right? We are covering each and every concept of SQL, and for every concept, I will explain you like this only detailedly by writing each and every syntax. I won't copy paste any syntaxes. I will write on my own. So that only if we write the syntax only, you can able to understand it easily. And for each and every concept, I will give you more examples. And the most important thing here is we are using Netflix database here to understand each and every topics. Once we are done tomorrow in this class, I guess we will finish foreign key. And in tomorrow's class, we will next concept is SQL commands like DCL, DQL, DML, all these commands. Once we're done with that commands, I will show you the first, once that topic is finished, I will show you the installation process of MySQL. I will make you to install this MySQL in your laptops. And then I will provide you this Maven movies, I mean the Netflix database to you. And I will show you how you will, import this database in your laptops. And I will explain you whatever tables is there, what is the data inside that database, I will explain you. And then I will start our main concepts, and each and every concepts from that I will use this database only. Okay, and along with that, of course, from the first class, from our first demo itself, I will give you the notes. Along with the notes, mainly what I believe in the sense, I will provide you this code files. Let me show you. I will provide all these workbench files actually. Okay, for suppose this is the primary key and foreign key concept file. I'll provide you like this. In this, starting from the creating database, I wrote everything, how to activate the database. I believe if you want separate notes also I will give, but I believe instead of writing notes separately and writing code separately, if I give this entire workbench files for you, you can save it all together in your laptops. And while practicing also, you can see the theory part along with the syntaxes at the same place. Right, because you can see once for revision purpose also it will be easy for you. Here creating database syntax will be there, how to activate the database, we have the syntax at the bottom. Creating this one, each and every point I will write very clearly like this. If we want to remove the table from the database, we will use drop command, and I will give the primary key also, main important points here. Like this, I will provide each and every points here. Along with the points, the code will be at the bottom. Like this. Real-time concepts in the sense, Rahul? Let me show you all the files. This all files I will provide for you. So this again, this is from where clause. We will use this Maven movies database. These are all examples. The question will be like this. I wrote the question in the comments. Fetch the data of movies whose rating is G. This will be the question and this will be the answer. Okay. The same way, this will be the question, this will be the answer. If there are any important points, I will write it here itself inside the quotes. Okay, what is order by, and some examples, questions, then answers like this. Right? Like that, for each and every concepts, I will provide these files for you. Along with that, if you want any theory, theory notes separately also, I can provide. See, this is joins concept. 1 second. See here, first I will explain what is joins, then clearly I will write all the syntaxes. Then what is inner join syntax, left join syntax, like that, each and everything. If you have any extra points also, I will write it in the comments here. I believe instead of import and export. I'm sorry, what is import and export, Rahul Krishna? I'm unable to understand your question. See, this is real-time concepts only. In MySQL, whatever course content I showed you yesterday, like, all the joins, subqueries, normalizations, indexes, regular expressions, functions, these are all the main concepts. You can even Google it anywhere. You can see the index of any institute. This will be the only course content in anywhere. Okay. See, like this, I will provide each and every query, each and every theory part also along with this one. Okay. I will provide you all these files for each and every topic. I guess this will be more than enough for you. See, for views also, I wrote theory part here, and then I started writing the syntaxes, and then there will be some examples. Okay. Whoever asked the question, is this will be enough for you, or do you need any? Because here the theory part also I covered everything here. I wrote that theory part in the queries. Instead of providing you the mostly outside in some institutes, what they will do, they will give the theory part for you as the notes, and whatever syntaxes or whatever examples they will write, they will discuss in the class. You need to watch that in the videos itself. Instead of that, I'm providing you the complete SQL files only for you. In that only you will find the notes. In that only you will find the syntaxes and examples. I guess this will be more than enough for you. Right? Is that enough? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. And ma'am, you'll write each and every line of code, or you'll just execute the pre-written code?
I prefer writing each and every code.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Because, simply I can, if I want to copy paste, I can finish this course in almost 15 days. No need of taking 40 days of time. I can just copy. If I copy, obviously the data, the syntax will be the correct one. I won't get any errors. See, I'm also human only. If I write, I may write any mistakes. At the starting of the class, you can see, I forgot I forgot activating the database and I wrote the syntax. I got error. Like that only, if I write each and every query, somewhere I may write mistake, somewhere we get errors. By getting errors only, we can learn more concept easily, right? If I don't write any mistakes also, if I explain it by writing the code, it will be, you can relate it to it very easily. Instead of just copying like this, I can say this is the data, alter view name, select star from film, and just executing and showing. It will definitely give the correct output, and I can say the class is finished, but I won't do like that. I prefer writing each and every code, then only, especially for joins. If you observe, for joins concept, let me open that file.
Madam, ma'am, is there any topic like pivot and unpivot in this SQL?
No, pivot topic is, it won't be in SQL, it will be in Excel, advanced Excel.
Okay.
And madam, I have a couple of questions.
Yes, please.
Madam, I do have 10 years experience in BPO sector.
Okay.
My age is around 39 years old now.
Okay.
Can I change the domain by learning only MySQL?
You can try, but I suggest you only with MySQL. You may get less chances if you learn any visualize. I mean, if you are interested to go to data science field, you can learn any visualization tool like maybe Tableau or Power BI. It's up to you, because why I'm suggesting you to learn that, in the sense, if you go like for full stack side, Java side, everything will be the coding part, which is a little bit difficult for you to understand.
Okay.
Okay. If it is if you learn any visualization tool, there no coding will be involved. It is very easy to understand. Okay. For SQL also, you need to do practice, but again, for Tableau or Power BI, without doing much practice also, if you just listen to the classes, almost you will get 80% knowledge. That much easy it will be. If you learn Tableau or Power BI along with the SQL, then the chances of getting job for you will be very huge. And again, in data science, domain knowledge is also important. If you are from non-IT, if you are, as you said, you are from BPO, right? In BPO also, you maybe work in your particular sectors, like maybe finance, or I don't know your domain, but you will have that some sort of domain knowledge, right? According to that domain knowledge, in that related companies, if you try as a Tableau developer or a Power BI developer, they will consider your BPO experience as well as a real-time experience.
Okay, madam. And can you prefer work from home options in this sector, madam?
Yeah, of course. Even I'm doing work from home only.
Okay. Is it a hybrid or work from home?
For me, it's complete work from home. There will be depending.
Ma'am,
There will be
did you
hybrid and
started the classes?
sorry.
Did you started the classes, ma'am, from create table?
Mm-hmm.
అంటే అక్కడ నుంచి స్టార్ట్ చేశారా మేము ఆల్రెడీ క్లాసెస్ మీరు?
నేను నిన్న స్టార్ట్ చేశానండి. నిన్నటి మీరు ఈ రోజైనా ఫస్ట్ రావడం?
అంటే మొన్న వచ్చా మేము డెమో క్లాస్, మళ్ళీ ఈ రోజు ఇప్పుడే జాయిన్ అయింది ఒక 10 minutes క్రితం.
ఓకే. అయితే నేను యాక్చువల్లీ ఈ రోజు కూడా ఆల్మోస్ట్ క్రియేట్ నుంచే చెప్పాను. మీకు ఈ రోజు నిన్నటి వీడియోస్ చూడండి ఫ్రీ టైంలో, మీకు అర్థమైపోతుంది. దీస్ ఆర్ ఆల్ బేసిక్స్. మీకు జస్ట్ వీడియో చూసినా అర్థమైపోతుంది.
And madam, are you taking Power BI classes right now?
Right now, I'm not taking Power BI. I'm taking only Tableau classes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, guys, let's continue our foreign key concept tomorrow. And I suggest you this, as I said, these are all, I mean, I will give all these files for you. Along with that, if you want any theory part notes
ఇప్పుడు
also, I can provide.
ప్రైమరీకి ఫారెన్ కి మిడిల్ లోగా మేము వచ్చేది ఫస్ట్ ఇన్సెట్ డిడిఎల్ కమాండ్స్ అవన్నీ రావాలిగా మేడం?
నేను ఇప్పుడు క్లాస్ స్టార్ట్ అవ్వగానే క్రియేట్ కమాండ్ చెప్పి, ఇన్సర్ట్ కమాండ్ చెప్పి, సెలెక్ట్ కమాండ్ చెప్పిన తర్వాత ప్రైమరీకి చెప్పాను. తర్వాత ఫారెన్ కీ చెప్పిన తర్వాత రేపు కమాండ్స్ గురించి చెప్తాను. ఫారెన్ కీకి ప్రైమరీ కీకి జస్ట్ ఇన్సర్ట్ కమాండ్, క్రియేట్ కమాండ్ తెలిస్తే సరిపోతుంది కాబట్టి నేను ఆ ఫ్లోలో చెప్తాను. నెక్స్ట్ రేపు వి విల్ స్టార్ట్, అంటే ఆఫ్టర్ కంప్లీటింగ్ ఫారెన్ కీ వి విల్ స్టార్ట్ ఆల్ ది సీక్వెల్ కమాండ్స్ లైక్ డిడిఎల్, డిఎంఎల్, డిక్యూఎల్ అవన్నీ లైన్ గా చెప్తూ ఉంటాను. మీరు అన్నట్టు అవి చెప్పిన తర్వాత కూడా ప్రైమరీకి ఫారెన్ కి చెప్పొచ్చు, బట్ ఐ విల్ గో విత్ దిస్ ఫ్లో, బికాస్ ప్రైమరీకి కానీ ఫారెన్ కి కానీ నేర్చుకోవడానికి వీ నీడ్ టు నో హౌ టు క్రియేట్ ద టేబుల్, హౌ టు ఇన్సర్ట్ ద డేటా. దట్స్ ఇట్, రైట్?
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, yes, please.
Ma'am, like one thing I'm facing a problem with SQL is that like after every topic, can we get like questions related to specific to that topic only? Like suppose if we complete joins, so that if we get at least 20 to 25 questions related to the topic, then we can easily revise it. Like
20 to 25 questions. I see here the problem will be I will explain each and every concept on one database, right? ఇప్పుడు నేను మూవీస్ డేటాబేస్ మీద I guess you know, you can understand Telugu, right?
Yes.
సో నేను ఇప్పుడు మూవీస్ డేటాబేస్ మీద ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను. ఆ డేటాబేస్ కి సంబంధించి ప్రతి ఒక్క జాయిన్స్ లో, సపోజ్ ఇన్నర్ జాయిన్ అనుకోండి, ఒక్క ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్పేసి వదిలేను. ఒక 2-3 ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ మీరు పర్ఫెక్ట్ అనుకున్నాక, అండ్ నేను ఇంతకు ముందు బ్యాచెస్ కి ఎలా చేస్తానంటే నేను ర్యాండమ్ గా క్వశ్చన్స్ కూడా అడుగుతాను. మీకు అర్థమవుతుంది అంటే మీరు ఇప్పుడు చూడండి, ఇది ఒక క్వెరీ. ఇది ఇన్ని లైన్స్ ఉంది. నేను అందుకే అంటున్నాను. నేను ప్రతీదీ రాస్తూ చెప్తాను. ఇప్పుడు నేను ఇదంతా కాపీ పేస్ట్ చేశాను అనుకోండి, మీకు అంత ఈజీగా అర్థం కాదు. నేను మీతోనే చెప్పిస్తాను. ఇప్పుడు ఈ లైన్ తర్వాత నెక్స్ట్ నేనేం రాయాలి, నెక్స్ట్ నేనేం రాయాలి అన్నట్టుగా ఏదో చిన్న పిల్లలకి చెప్పినట్టే చెప్తాను. మనం అలా నేర్చుకుంటేనే సీక్వెల్ మనకి ఫాస్ట్‌గా వస్తుంది.
Yes, ma'am.
That way only we can learn SQL very easily. సో, ఇలా నేను ఓన్లీ 1 ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్పాను. అలానే మీరన్నట్టు 10 to 20 ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ కూడా చెప్పలేను. ఒక 4, 5 ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ అయితే చెప్తాను. అండ్ ఐ
Like-
సజెస్ట్ యూ
Yes, ma'am. Like అంటే like examples అవసరం లేదు ma'am. Like at least like questions provide చేయగలిగితే so that we can practice after class related to that topic. Like
Okay,
the main
ఇప్పుడు
difficulty I'm
నేను
facing is that there are so many platforms in the internet, but all the questions are scattered, right? Like if we open hacker rank or
అదే
some
అదే.
other.
ఇప్పుడు మీరు గూగుల్ చేస్తే మీకు వేరే డేటాబేస్ మీద క్వెషన్స్ వస్తుంటాయి. అలా
Yeah,
అంటున్నారా?
yeah. But like all put together at one place మీ దగ్గర ఏమైనా ఉన్నాయా like that? Yeah.
ఇప్పుడు
Or
అదే
or
అదే.
else you
నేను
can
ప్రతి
guide like. Yeah.
యాహ్! ఐ కెన్ గైడ్ యూ. నో ప్రాబ్లమ్. ఇప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ ఏంటంటే నేను ఈ డేటాబేస్ మీద ఒక 3, 4 ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ చెప్తే అట్‌లీస్ట్ ఇంకో 2 క్వెషన్స్ అన్నా నేను ఫ్రేమ్ చేయడానికి ట్రై చేస్తాను. ఐ వోంట్ ప్రామిస్ యూ. కానీ ఒక 2, 3 క్వెషన్స్ మీకు ఇవ్వడానికి ట్రై చేస్తాను. అది కాకుండా ఒకవేళ మీకు గూగుల్‌లో నార్మల్‌గా మీరు ఎట్లన్నా మీరు ఒక డేటాబేస్ తోటి ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ అని కొడితే చాలా వచ్చేస్తాయి. ఆర్ ఎల్స్ ఐ సజెస్ట్ యూ అది
Actually,
వాట్ ఈస్ దట్?
hacker rank, all these websites are
యాహ్!
there, but
హ్యాకర్ ర్యాంక్.
yeah, but like they are not segregated into topic wise now, so I'm facing difficulties.
యాహ్! కరెక్ట్. ఓన్లీ W3 స్కూల్స్ మాత్రమే టాపిక్ వైస్‌గా సెగ్రిగేట్ అయ్యి ఉంటుంది. మిగిలినయన్ని నార్మల్‌గా కామన్‌గా వచ్చేస్తూ ఉంటాయి. డోంట్
Yes, ma'am.
వరీ. గోయింగ్ ఫార్వర్డ్ మనకి ఇప్పుడు నేను ఒక టాపిక్ అవ్వగానే ఆ టాపిక్ మీద కొన్ని క్వెషన్స్ ఇవ్వడమో, లేదా రిలేటెడ్ ఏదైనా లింక్ ఇవ్వడమో మీరు అందులో చూసుకోండి అని అలా వర్కౌట్ చేద్దాం. నో ప్రాబ్లమ్.
Yes, ma'am. And one more thing, ma'am, if I watch the recording, so that can you post the link somewhere else so that I can access even after the class while watching the recording?
Of course. Once you made the payment, I mean, once you registered into after making payment, if you registered into the course, they will provide you a link. In that link only, డైలీ వైస్ మీకు క్లాస్ నోట్స్ కానీ, వీడియోస్ కానీ అన్నీ వస్తాయి. మీకు ఆ లింక్‌కి యాక్సెస్ ఇస్తారు. వన్స్ యూ గాట్ రిజిస్టర్డ్.
Yeah, like a drive link is like Google Drive link you're saying, right?
అట్లా ఒక వెబ్‌సైట్ లింక్ ఇస్తారు. దాంట్లోనే మీకు అన్నీ ఉంటాయి డే వైస్‌గా.
Okay, ma'am,
అండ్
because mostly I'll be watching recordings, ma'am. If possible, I'll be joining the live class, but mostly
ఓకే.
like time does not permit for me, so
ఆల్రైట్.
so that's the
దట్స్ ఓకే. ఇఫ్ అలాంటి సిట్యుయేషన్ ఏదైనా ఉంటే మీరు వీడియోస్ చూస్తూ మధ్యలో వచ్చి మీకు వీలైనప్పుడు ఏదైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే
Yeah.
అడగడం గానీ, ఆ క్లాసెస్ వినడం గానీ అలా కూడా చేయొచ్చు.
yeah.
ఐయామ్
That's
సారీ
what I'm
గైస్, ఐయామ్
planning.
స్టాపింగ్ ఇట్ హియర్. 8:00 బ్యాచ్ వాళ్ళు కంటిన్యూస్‌గా కాల్ చేస్తున్నారు. లెట్స్ మీట్ టుమారో. ఓకేనా?
Sure,
ఐ
okay.
హావ్ అనదర్ బ్యాచ్ at 8:00.
Okay,
ఓకే.
ma'am.
యెస్.
Yeah.
ఓకే.
Thank you.
హలో. యాహ్!